The first time I saw my neighbor's dog in my backyard, I didn't think much of it. It was a golden retriever, a little too energetic and clearly well-fed. I assumed it had simply wandered over from next door. Lured by the scent of my barbecue, I shooed it away, gently watching as I bounded back over the short fence separating my yard from my neighbor's. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. The next morning, as I stepped out to grab my newspaper, I noticed the dog again. This time it was digging furiously at a spot near the oak tree in the back corner of my yard. I sighed, muttering to myself about how much trouble this was going to be. I walked over, clapped my hands, and called out, "Hey buddy, time to go home." The dog, tongue hanging out, looked up at me with bright eyes before trotting back over the fence once more. Later that day, I ran into my neighbor Daniel as I was heading out to work. He was a middle-aged man with graying hair and an easy smile. "Hey, Daniel, I called your dog keep sneaking into my yard." Daniel frowned. "That strange Duke never does that. He's usually pretty good about staying put." "Well, he's been at it 2 days in a row now. Might want to check your fence for holes." Daniel nodded. "We do. Thanks for letting me know." I figured that was the end of it, but the following morning Duke was back digging at the same spot, even more furiously than before. This time I decided to see what had him so interested. I approached, cautiously watching as he scratched at the dirt with single-minded determination. When I got close enough, I saw something glinting in the early morning sunlight. Curiosity got the better of me. I crouched down, brushing away the loose soil. Duke had kicked up. My fingers met something hard, metallic, a lockbox, old and rusted, buried beneath the roots of the oak tree. My heart pounded as I pulled it out. Completely, it was small, no bigger than a shoebox, with a rusted lock holding it shut. "What do you have there?" Daniel's voice startled me. He had come over to investigate, no doubt curious about why his dog was so obsessed with my yard. I held at the box. "Your dog dug this up. Any idea what it is?" Daniel's expression darkened as he took the box from me, examining it closely. "I have no idea," he admitted. "This house has been in my family for years, though maybe something my dad or grandpa buried." The lock was rusted shut, but Daniel, ever the handyman, offered to take it back to his garage and see if he could get it open. I agreed, figuring it was probably nothing more than some old keepsakes or forgotten trinkets. A few hours later, he called me over. "You're going to want to see this." I stepped into his garage to find the box open on his workbench. Inside were stacks of yellowed papers, and at the very bottom a small tarnished silver key. Daniel handed me the topmost paper. "It's a letter," he said, "from my grandfather." I read the words aloud. "If you find this, it means the truth has not been lost in this town. There are secrets brewed deeper than this box. If you follow the key, you'll find what was meant to stay hidden." A chill ran down my spine. Daniel was silent for a long moment, then said, "I think we need to find out what this key unlocks." The next few days were spent combing through old town records, searching for any clue about Daniel's grandfather and what he might have been hiding. We discovered that he had once owned an old storage unit on the outskirts of town. It was still standing, though long abandoned. The night we went to investigate, the air was thick with anticipation. Duke came along, his tail wagging as if he knew he had led us to something important. The storage unit, it was covered in dust and cobwebs. The lock on the door was rusted, but still intact until we used the key from the box. With a loud click it turned, and the door creaked open. Inside we found a collection of items that told a story of their own: old newspaper clippings, faded photographs, and a journal filled with notes and careful handwriting. The clipping spoke of a bank robbery decades ago, one that had never been solved. Daniel flipped through the journal, his brow furrowed. "My grandfather knew something," he murmured. "He must have been involved, or at least knew who was." The more we read, the clearer it became. Daniel's grandfather had been keeping a secret, one he had taken to his grave. Among the items wrapped in an old cloth was a bag filled with dusty, unmarked bills. "We need to go to the police," I said, and Daniel nodded, though his expression was conflicted. "After reporting our findings, The authorities reopened the case, piecing together the truth from the journal and evidence we had uncovered. It turned out Daniel's grandfather had hidden the money to keep it out of the hands of dangerous criminals. His actions had gone unspoken for years, until Duke, with his relentless digging, uncovered the past. In the weeks that followed, the town buzzed with the revelation of the long-buried crime. The money was returned to the rightful heirs, and Daniel, though shocked by his family's history, found a sense of closure. As for me, I couldn't help but smile whenever I saw Duke in my yard. That dog had a nose for mysteries, and who knew what else he might dig up next.